Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today, we have the Civivi Rustic Gent. This is a knife that has probably been, almost certainly been, the most requested review I've had of the first several months of 2020. It seems like anytime I mention a Civivi, anytime I mention anything traditional, really, honestly, anytime I mention anything remotely sharp and pointy or do a live show or anything where you guys can ask me a question, one of the number one questions is, when are you going to review the Rustic Gent? Now I have one. It was a design that in pictures didn't really appeal to me. We'll talk more about how I get it now as we go on. I do get it. It is pretty darn cool. I should have done it sooner. But there were a lot of other modern Civivis and stuff that I wanted to review first. Civivi comes out with stuff pretty fast and furious, sometimes kind of hard to keep up on. I was focusing more on those, but now thanks to one of my viewers, Chris, I have one. He sent it along to me, and I very much appreciate that. It is he donated to the channel, and it is a pretty cool knife. I get it now. I totally get why you guys love this thing so much. It's pretty darn neat, as they would say if it was 1957 and you had 2.1 kids and your dad worked at a banking firm or something like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to give some unique 1950s lifestyle thing. I don't know. But it is a very kind of traditional design. It comes in many, many, many different flavors. A lot of them are sold out right now. We'll get to that in just a moment. But this is the green micarta with a carbon fiber bolster. They all have carbon fiber bolsters. In the pictures, the textures look a bit different, but I'm not really sure about that. I think it's probably all the same stuff. But there is this green micarta. There is a tan micarta, which looks kind of like a burlap micarta. A black micarta, I would describe the same way, kind of a black micarta. And there is also a black G10. There are also the Damascus versions of it, with the Damascus blade, which is primarily made of 9CR. These are all D2, by the way, the standard ones. The 9CR Damascus ones come in a kind of, they call it a matrix micarta. It looks sort of black and white, or the black G10. That latter one is available right now at Southern Edge Knife Works. Go to southernedgeknifeworks.com, use the code SDSEK at checkout and get 15% off and free shipping in the continental US. So go check that out if you want to grab you one of them. I think they're 99 bucks over there. But do go check it out. This regular version in this kind of micarta runs for $76.50, so you're paying a bit extra for the Damascus, but $76.50, not too bad. It does also come with a sheath. There is no pocket clip, so it comes with a very cool leather sheath, which we will talk about extensively shortly, but it looks great. It looks pretty well made. It is actual real leather, has a little pocket clip on it. Pretty unique carrying solution for this, because some people are just going to want to drop this in the bottom of their pocket, and some people like me hate that. So they came up with this. We'll talk in a minute about whether or not that works very well. But a pretty neat solution from Civivi, and it comes with all that. It doesn't come with the usual zipper pouch, just comes with that. So that makes sense, though. It's got a pouch to hold it in. Makes sense that it doesn't come with the zipper pouch and all that stuff, but it does come with the sticker and all the, the wiping cloth and all the other usual stuff you expect from Civivi. Let's do some specs and some size comparisons before we go too much farther. You have a blade length of 3 inches, overall length of 6 3/4 inches, very, very thin blade stock at 0.10 inches, and a handle thickness of 0.44 inches, and a weight of 2.59 ounces. And as they almost always do, golf clap. Exactly what it weighed. I like it when they do that. Let's do some size comparisons here. We have our usuals, the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and the Spyderco Para 3. So you can see it's just a little bit shorter than a Para 3. Do our Benchmade comparisons, then we'll get to some stuff that actually does kind of compare a little bit more properly to this, because this is kind of a unique knife. It's definitely in that modern sort of traditional. It is a lockback. It's not a slip joint, but still, I would put it in that modern traditional kind of category. There's your full-size Griptilian and the full-size bug out. So a little bit shorter than a full-size bug out. Now, next I'm going to bring out, one more Spyderco. This one happens to be very gentlemanly looking and fits it because it is the Pack of Wood Knife Center exclusive version, but the Delica 4, because Delica 4 doesn't come in some kind of gentleman. This is definitely in a gent's knife category, the Rustic Gent, as the name would indicate. Clever. But yeah, this is the Pack of Wood Delica, but you can see it's just a little bit smaller than a Delica. And another knife that I think this compares very well to, that we may see a battle to the death if I have time to do it. today, I guess. It won't go up today, but to record it today. We have the QSP Worker. So you can see it's quite a bit smaller than the Worker, but this is also a really awesome knife in kind of this sort of same category. They just chose to go with the pocket clip instead of the that little slip case thing, but yeah, another knife that's in that very similar sort of category. All right, let's talk about this knife. This blade though, yeah, this is a scalpel, a laser beam, all those things you want to say. It is D2. I'm kind of surprised they didn't go 9CR with this, because in kind of a modern traditional design, it's kind of traditional. They usually have steels that are pretty easy to sharpen. D2's not horrible, but it's not the easiest stuff in the world to sharpen. As I said, if you pop for a bit more money and get the Weemascus version, that is primarily 9CR. That stuff is a lot easier to sharpen. I would really have expected to see that on this, but that's not what they went with. But as I said, just 0.10 inch blade thickness, and I'm going to do the thickness behind the edge right here live on the cameras to show it to you. Spoiler, I already know what it is. But it's very thin. If I can get the calipers to grab. Nice hollow grind, and only, yeah, saw it there for a second, about 15 thousandths behind the edge. This is 15 and a half, no way to measure. Averages out at about 15 thousandths behind the edge. So that is screaming thin behind the edge, screaming sharp knife. It is a slicing machine. It has this nice kind of, you know, clip point Bowie sort of blade, very traditional looking. I like it a whole lot, and man, this thing will cut absolutely for sure. And it is a lockback, so it's not like a lot of your modern traditionals that are slip joints. You can actually get some real stuff done with this, and you're not going to be uncomfortable doing it. I can get all 4 fingers on this thing super easy. Very rounded handles, very nice. At first, I kind of wish they go in the pocket clip instead of that slipcase thing, but it does make for excellent ergonomics. It is super comfortable in the hand. It's not a super skinny handle, just, you know, 0.44. That's not bad. It's just slightly below average. So it is really comfortable in the hand. This lockback's really strong. You know, you can push on this all you want, and that's what you want to do. That's just kind of how your finger lands. Very, very, very comfortable knife to use. Absolutely, for sure. Really do like that about it. Now on the carry, this is going to take a minute because we have that slip case. So you can just drop it in your pocket. And if you do that, it's not particularly large, so it's probably fine. I hate having stuff floating around in my pockets. So that's why I don't carry a lot of traditionals. You guys asked me about that a lot. If I do, it's like in the 5th pocket, because I just don't like stuff banging around in my pocket. That's to each his own, you know. Some people don't mind that at all. But you have this nice little slip case. I found it's best to put it in this way. And then you just clip that in your pocket. And you leave it there. And then, you know, you can just take the knife out at whim. Really nice case. Pocket clip looks like a normal Civivi clip, which I kind of like that. And once you get the hang of it, it's not too hard to get this in and out when you're just walking around. Obviously, with it in a pair of loose cut apart Wranglers, you do have to, you know, I have to grab my other hand and kind of pinch it open, but I don't when I'm just walking around. I've gotten used to it now. Didn't take long, and I can get it in and out pretty easy. Do I have to think more than I do when I'm just putting a regular knife with a pocket clip in my pocket? Yeah, a little bit, but not too bad. And once it's in there, yeah, it's wide, of course, but it's very thin. It's made of leather. It's nice, soft leather. Nothing scratching or anything. It actually carries pretty well. It actually works pretty well, I do have to say. Quite impressed with it. And a couple of companies make these for other traditionals, and I need to get some more because I do think I would carry traditionals more often if I had something like this. So it's really cool that Civivi came up with that and provides it with the knife. I think that's a really awesome little, I'm not going to call it innovation, but it's cool that they provide it with the knife. Pretty easy to get out afterwards. It definitely is in there secure enough to hold it, but it's not so tight that you really have to reef on it to get it out. I've never had it like come loose from the pocket clip or anything, you know, taking it in and out. It's always worked really well. I like it once you get used to it. It is kind of a cool little carry solution. You just, when you're using the knife, you still have this little bit in your pocket, but I don't think that's going to be a bother, because if you're using the knife, you're probably not like laying on it or anything. I don't know what you'd be doing if you're doing that, but to each his own, I guess. Not there's anything wrong with that, but no, it works really well. I do like that little solution. And now we get to the action on this thing. So I did not really understand why it had a half stop on a backlock. Didn't really get it. seemed kind of weird. It is terribly smooth, very, very smooth. Running on bearings, it's just a really, really smooth knife to actuate, absolutely for sure. One of the smoothest lockbacks I've ever used. The only other one that's close is the QSP, because again, it's running on bearings. I really like that. I like lockbacks on bearings. That's a pretty good idea. But I didn't get why I had the half stop. Now I get it, because if you do want to close this one-handed, you can do that. You got to be a little careful. Not saying you should do it all the time, but if you just tap that lockback, it stops. So if you want to one-hand close it, you can. Again, be careful. It may fall down and touch your fingers if you just hold it and flick it, but if you just tap it like that, it works really well. Nice full nail opening. So I'm not saying you should do it that way all the time, but I have been, and it works really well. Pretty neat. And again, action is just so smooth. And if you don't want to use the half stop, just don't. Not the end of the world. Just don't use it. If you want to two-hand close it, completely fine. Probably still the safer way, but you can kind of do that one little thing if you want to. So yeah, my overall conclusion on this is, yeah, I should have got one of these sooner. I should listen to you guys more often. I should make a policy. If I get more than 10 requests for a review, I'm just going to do it, unless it's horribly expensive or something. You can put a lanyard on it too if you want to. But I think it's a beautiful knife. I don't really spend much time talking about the looks, but yes, it does look very traditional, but very modern. As usual, just the Civivi logo on the pivot. That is it. You can take it apart and service it and all those things, and it's a beautifully made knife and beautifully designed knife. I guess my only really gripe is the D2 blade steel choice. I wish that they were just all 9CR, that you didn't have to jump up to the Weemascus for that, because I don't know, in this kind of traditionally sort of knife, I kind of like the look of the plain blade better. And a lot of them are sold out right now, but you can find the Weemascus versions around. They came out a little bit later. Those are still out. Again, Southern Edge Knife Works has them, link down below. But other than the blade steel choice, I really, really, really like this knife a whole lot. And the blade steel choice is still arguable. D2's fine. Civivi's D2 is really good. It's just, I would, normally in this kind of market segment, you have stuff that's easy to sharpen. So I guess that's my really only complaint. Other than that, man, really cool. I think the pocket, the slip, the little pocket slip works really well. And I like it a whole lot. And now I kind of get the half stop thing. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.